There's a new political leader on the rise in Harlem.
Even though it won't be official until Wednesday when the Board of Elections declares a winner, there is a clear front runner, and he is joining us this morning. Yusef Salaam, good morning to you, and thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's definitely a pleasure to be back.
Yeah, congratulations on what appears to be a victory for you. I mean, you have no political experience. I mean, you spoke with us here on PIX11 Morning News, here live in the studio. You secured nearly double the votes of State Assemblywoman Inez Dickens, a longtime Harlem politician. Now, when you came to visit us, you said you kind of felt like Harlem voters wanted something new and different, and it appears you are right.
Absolutely. Harlem has spoken. And the best thing about it is that, we've been looking at really divestment in our community for so long. The fact that we've needed services that have saluted us, as I walked around my community, you could hear the wants from people. You could tell that people were in pain. You could tell that this was something different. The fact that I came out of a private side of life, after having been found innocent of these crimes that I didn't commit. And now I'm back using my platform to do something really important, which is help our people.
And for Ms. Dickens, she conceded the race, but she certainly had a lot of support from the Harlem political establishment, right, in the community. She's been part of that community for decades as both a council member and state assembly member. So do you anticipate, or how do you see a working relationship with folks who have been a political establishment like Ms. Dickens?
I see it as a very positive relationship. As I've said on the campaign trail, we get an opportunity to create a sort of kind of A-team. The fact that both Inez Dickens and Al Taylor are assembly persons that are in Albany doing the great work, helping Harlem, making sure that we get our fair share. They get an opportunity to bring a person like me in who is old enough now to do something about the conditions in our community and still yet young enough to get counsel from all of the great legends that are still here.
Yeah, well, given your past experience with the NYPD, as many know, you're one of the exonerated 5. Some people may be a little bit surprised to learn that you support law enforcement. So right now there is a new interim NYPD commissioner. So what steps are you planning to take to improve community policing? What will be your relationship with the police department?
I've always said we need righteous actors at all levels of government. The great thing about it is that I've met so many great police officers, and I had a really, really interesting story. Some years back, I met a young lady who was about 13, told me that she wanted to become a cop, that she was a cadet. And she asked me, what advice can I give her? And I told her about my travels, that all throughout the United States, we see on the side of cop cars the words to serve and protect, that in New York City, they go a step above and beyond and add the words courtesy, professionalism, and respect. And by the time we finished, I said, if you can be the kind of officer that is a guardian for society, that is there to serve and protect, you're the type of officer that we need. Police officers are supposed to be here to keep us safe. And the fact that we have righteous actors in that office is a really, really beautiful thing. The unfortunate part is that we keep getting the light shined on the unrighteous actors. So we're talking about smarter policing as opposed to over-policing. We're talking about utilizing the best of our services for all of us and not just some of us. And the beautiful thing about it is that as a person who's been run over by the spike wheels of justice, who looks at this really from the inside out as opposed to the outside in, I really have a different perspective, a more unique perspective of what we really need.
Yeah, I think that perspective is important too. And what are your priorities, though, as you take office, right? I'm sure you're getting a lot of calls about what people want and what they need. What can you see yourself tackling on day one as the biggest priority?
I mean, the biggest priority that we need in our community is, of course, affordable housing.
Yeah.
The challenge is making sure that we can build affordable housing. It costs money to do that. And so therefore, we need to incentivize developers so that they can come in to do exactly what it is that we need. But at the same time, if we have a community benefits agreement, that community benefits agreement allows for the developers to understand exactly where our needs fit and where they can come in and help. Now, of course, we need the best education. I mean, there's been budget cuts. We need to find the money to make sure that we can pour back into our public school systems. I feel like the public housing thing, though, or the housing thing is really, really at the top because, as you know, we've had an influx of migrants, and we've been able to solve for that, but we have not yet been able to solve for our homeless population.
But what's the secret sauce then, right? Because I feel like affordable housing is what everybody wants to tackle. Everybody talks about it, but there seems to be this difficulty in getting it done. So what's the secret?
The secret is speaking to our community's concerns specifically. And what that means is that affordable housing, as it's been discussed, has been talking about AMI, and AMI could fluctuate. It can turn from here to there. But if we specifically say, look, we need income targeted housing. Income targeted is very specific. People in our community that are making $30,000 and less, maybe sometimes $15,000, and that might be the cap. And so if we have income targeted housing for families, they get the opportunity to plan in safety, to think about their futures without worrying about whether they're going to have an eviction notice on their door or whether they can, provide food for their families.
And just real quickly, you had just mentioned education. Unlike a lot of your fellow Democrats, you actually support charter schools. So do you think that charter schools will benefit Harlem?
I support a parent's right to choose whatever, any type of education that they want for their child. And I think that that's the part that's most important. Where I don't support is that we're talking about co-location, and a lot of the schools that have co-location, they're really pulling out the financial resources from the public schools that they may be housed in. And so charter schools benefit, but at the same time, the detriment is that they're pulling services from the public schools that are desperately needed. And of course, we need education for our children, and we need world-class education.
It is that they are the future, right? Yusef Salaam, I'm sure we'll be talking to you plenty. The projected winner of Harlem's District 9 City Council race. Thank you for being here this morning.
My pleasure, and thank you for having me.